Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Apopka High School welcomes you once again to Joe Sterling Gymnasium for Game 19 of the 7th Annual Metro versus Florida Challenge, the event where the Orlando Metro Conference puts its reputation on the line as one of the premier conferences in Florida basketball against some of the best teams from the rest of the state. And today we welcome as our guests wearing the green jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard. From Central Florida Christian Academy, they are the Eagles. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard, representing the Orlando Metro Conference from Wekiva High School, please welcome the Mustangs. Let's meet the starting lineups for both teams, beginning with our guests from CFCA. And we will start at small forward with 6'4", sophomore, number 2, Kendrick Brown. At point guard, 6' junior, number 11, Dante Tracy. At power forward, 6'5", sophomore, number 20, Daniel Rivera. At center, 6'7", senior, number 21, Zen Goodridge. And finally for the Eagles at shooting guard, 6'2", senior, number 23, Sebastian Brown. The head coach of the Eagles in his second year at CFCA, Mr. Jonathan McClintock, and assistant coach Andrew Gustafson. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting at guard with 6'1", junior, number 1, Tyrone Perry. At guard, 6' junior, number 10, Marcus Davis. At forward, 6'4", junior, number 24, Jeremy Johnson. At guard, 6'2", senior, number 12, Ruben Shepard. And finally for the Mustangs at forward, 6'9", senior, number 15, Paul Reed. The head coach of the Mustangs in his third year at Wekiva, Mr. Jacino Lubin. An assistant coach, Rodney Oliver and Charles Hardy. And we are ready to get underway here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium here at Apopka High School. This is Mark Barchi, the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And I will be joined shortly by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief, who's going to be in and out for today's broadcast, since he is also covering the game as a photographer for the Apopka Chief. And we are underway. CFCA wins the tip-off. And it's going to be number 11, Dante Tracy, who takes it out first for CFCA. A shot by Kendrick Brown. Doesn't go anywhere, and an offensive rebound for number 23, Sebastian Brown.
So again, as we get ready to get into game number 19 here, the Metro Conference has a 14-4 lead, and of course, Mark and I, we covered the Wekiva Metro on a regular basis. Just a little bit of the back notes here. This is actually a traditional matchup between one of the bigger schools and the smaller schools. However, I believe this is the biggest difference between classifications, as Wekiva is in Class 9A District 3 and Central Florida Christian Academy is in 2A District 5. Now, as is usually the case, the smaller school has as one of the state powerhouses in that range.
Ruben Shepard puts the Mustangs on the board for 3. And that was preceded by Dante Tracy, who missed a basket but then got his own putback for CFCA. And so the Mustangs lead the what are these called? The Eagles with 6 minutes 54 seconds left in the first quarter. The Mustangs lead 3-2. So we've had back-to-back games with the Eagles being the visiting school.
These Eagles continue to finish on top.
Dante Tracy for 3.
These Eagles made it all the way to the regional semifinals. That's the round of 16 in the past 2A playoffs last year. They come in with a 17-12 record off of last season, which is actually a little bit below. They're not just a team that makes it deep into the playoffs, but they often win 20 games.
Tyrone Perry answers with a 3 of his own for the Mustangs.
And of course, they're coached by Jonathan McClintock, who's in his second season, so they're still going through something of a transition.
And a steal here by Paul Reed. Paul Reed took the dribble away from Sebastian Brown. He's going to go down and get fouled. Foul is called against Eagles number 23, Sebastian Brown, on the push. It's his first and the team's first. At the line, shooting 2, Paul Reed.
And of course, on the other hand, Wakaiva comes into the season off the 14-12 record, looking not only to take that next step, but of course, making the playoffs and winning some games in the playoffs, but getting some redemption after losing in the district semifinal. They're led by, of course, Paul Reed, who has several over 20 D1 offers, and Ruben Shepard. Anything you want to add to that, Clark, as the regular announcer?
Well, yeah, it's been really exciting to see Paul Reed develop and really fill the shoes of DJ Patterson, who the Mustangs graduated. And here's another 3. Sebastian Brown from the corner for 3. And that will put the Eagles back on top, 8-7. It's a hot shooting night for both teams from the perimeter.
Yeah, both teams have come out very hot. Of course, good shooting is set up by being able to move the ball and get the field goal shooter open.
We had some kind of violation here, and I missed what it was.
To finish the thought up again, Wakaiva comes in looking for their third victory during the regular season and has many opportunities, and 5 including the preseason. They're still looking to kind of find that perfect gear, but so far they've played a lot more consistent than inconsistent, and this is a team that's looking much different than the way they started last season by going 2-0 and 4-0, including the preseason.
Now, Jeremy Johnson gets a hand on the ball there and deflects it away. You're probably going to see a lot of that from him tonight. Jeremy Johnson may or may not have the most points on the board, depending on the game. But what he does have is a lot of intangibles for the Mustangs. We're going to get a 3-second call here. 3 seconds in the key. And that's called on Daniel Rivera. That'll turn the ball over to Wakaiva.
This is also Wakaiva's second game in the Metro versus Florida Challenge. There's 4 or 5 teams that play 2 games. Wakaiva's always one of those teams that play twice.
And Paul Reed sensed that he was about to be fouled there, so he went up to take the shot, so he'll get a chance to go to the line. The foul is called against Zen Goodrich, his first and the team's second. Paul Reed shooting 2.
The reason I bring up Wakaiva as playing their second game is relating back to what you were saying about Jeremy Johnson. In the first game, Jeremy got into foul trouble very, very early, and unfortunately, he was not a factor the way the Mustangs would like him to be.
Yeah, it's important for him to stay with a low foul count well into the second half so that the Mustangs can really utilize him because he makes a huge difference on defense. Dante Tracy goes coast to coast for the layup, and that'll put the Eagles back on top 10-8. And here's an air ball from Marcus Davis that's rebounded by Kendrick Brown. Davis just didn't get the timing right on that, and Paul Reed is going to pick up a foul here. Paul Reed is called on the foul for the Mustangs. That's his first and the team's first. That's also important for Reed to stay out of trouble because Paul Reed's certainly the biggest man on the court. He's the one who's going to get a block shot if anybody is. And he is also a hot scorer for the Mustangs, especially from the perimeter. And normally you expect your shorter guys to be your good perimeter shooters and you expect your big guys to be powerful in the paint. And I mean, not to say that Reed is not also excellent in the paint, but he hits more threes than the average guy that has the letter F next to his name on the roster. Marcus Davis is just going to flat out take this rebound away from Daniel Rivera, and it gets straight down the court to Ruben Shepard, picking up 2 for the Mustangs. And that ties the game at 10. So we've got a hot one going here in the first quarter. Too high is the pass from Dante Tracy. It goes over the head of Kendrick Brown, and that's out of bounds. That's a turnover that the Eagles cannot afford right now. Mustangs trying to see if they can't get out by more than a basket here. Right now they're tied. Ruben Shepard comes to the top of the key and takes a shot. It doesn't go for him. And the rebound is from number 11, Dante Tracy.
Yeah, so far here in the early going is we're just past the halfway point of the first quarter. This is a somewhat different game in the fact that we have two teams that are going back and forth. It just seems like most of the games, one team is broken out to a 10 or 12 point lead during the first half of the first quarter.
So Reed gets a steal that results in a three-point miss from Jeremy Johnson. The rebound goes to Dante Tracy, and here comes a three from number 22. Did I read that right? No, number 23. Sebastian Brown picks up the three to give the Eagles the lead, and they will take a timeout, 30-second timeout called by CFCA. And so they go up 13-10 with 3 minutes 21 seconds left in the first quarter. And both of these teams, I think, really executing well. We've seen some games here at the Metro versus Florida Challenge where both teams really struggled to find their rhythm, and we had a very low-scoring first quarter on both sides as a result. That is not the case in this game. Both teams have been very accurate from behind the arc and have also made some pretty clutch inside plays that you normally don't see from guys that are still getting used to working together.
Yeah, and we expect to see that from Hokkaido. Of course, we don't get a chance to cover the smaller schools, and like I said, CFCA is a Class 2A team. But so far here in the early going, it looks like they're pretty much similar to Hokkaido in the fact that they like to do a little bit of both, going inside and outside. They play motion offenses, which allows for that inside and outside play.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, the fact that they are a much smaller school being 2A, that is not to be taken lightly, because among 2A programs, they are certainly among the top shelf, and they draw a lot of talent that a lot of giant schools would be proud to have.
Absolutely, and that's one of the advantages of being a smaller school. You can't directly recruit, but for all intents and purposes, there is recruiting going on. Of course, not in the sense of people, the coaches asking the players to come, but the players seek out the programs.
Right, it's what I call recruiting by reputation, and there's no rule against that. So into the game for the Mustangs, we've got Sam Bostic coming in as well as Keon Morris to give a couple of Mustangs a breather. Sam Bostic takes the ball at the paint, and he's going to lose it to a steal by number 11. That's Dante Tracy, who goes coast to coast, and Dante Tracy drains a three for the Eagles. So now they go up with 6 unanswered points, and here comes Ruben Shepard, coast to coast for the Mustangs. So that didn't take long to get an answer there. I mean, still 3 points beats 2, but you got to appreciate Ruben Shepard for controlling the rhythm of the game there.
And again, we are very early in the season, but so far Hokkaido's done very, very well at preventing a couple of baskets turning into a game-changing run.
And I think we're going to lose the ball to a 5-second call. That's what it looked like. So that'll be credit Paul Reed with the steal there on the 5-second call, as he puts up some good defensive work for the Mustangs.
Collectively so far here in the early going, Hokkaido's done a very good job of good defensive work, which is nothing new. Of course, Mark and I, being the regular announcers, see that, again, like I said, in all 5 of their games, including the preseason.
So the Mustangs let the ball go out of bounds here and waste that opportunity. Dante Tracy going to take the ball in from the backcourt. He finds Kendrick Brown in the key. Brown goes over Jeremy Johnson, but it doesn't go in. Johnson looking for the rebound. No, Paul Reed is going to get it. His height nearly gets away from him on that one, but he pulls it down. Paul Reed, there he goes. Paul Reed floats one in for 2. And boy, there's just no way you can guard against that. I mean, first of all, the man is 6'9", and second of all, I mean, with that kind of accuracy, I don't care how you're guarding him. Gonna give a block to Jeremy Johnson here. And then Paul Reed gets the rebound.
And one thing I've also noticed from Hokkaido, again, so far early into the season, and from what I've seen in the 7 minutes of CFCA playing, is these are two schools that look like they've been playing together for quite a while. Most of the teams we've seen has kind of that stop and go consistent element to them because they've only played together. The players have only played together for a couple of games. Both these teams are very, very veteran lineups. And as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, the Tigers looking for redemption. They got the 5 same guys coming back who lost in the district semifinals in overtime, a heartbreaker. And CFCA, I don't know specifically how their season ended, but I do know 4 of the 5 guys did start together last year.
Push is called against number 1, Visual Russell, his first personal foul, the team's third. So prior to that, the Mustangs got a 5-second, or rather the Eagles got a 5-second call against them on the inbound. So good defensive work by the Mustangs there to make that happen. But here we're going to get a travel call on Keon Morris, and that'll give the ball right back to the Eagles. So an opportunity wasted there for the Mustangs to possibly tie the game or even go up with less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. Sebastian Brown goes over to Visual Russell, who takes it up to the key. He's going to look like he goes for a shot, but he doesn't. He passes it off to Dante Tracy. Dante Tracy from Visual Russell picks up 3 for the Eagles. And so now they're up by 5. That's a costly turnover for the Mustangs. It'll cost them 3 points.
Yeah, and again, the lead goes up to 2 possessions. That's basically a 5-point lead.
Keon Morris picks up a jump shot for Wekiva. So we're back to a 1-possession ball game, 20 seconds left. Don't be surprised if the Eagles try to time this to make sure the Mustangs don't get a chance. They're going to make it hard, though, because Morris and Bostic are going to double team. And the Eagles just get the timeout called in time. Morris and Bostic putting on some intense pressure for the Mustangs, getting the trap, sending them to the floor, and a 30-second timeout called by CFCA to prevent a turnover here with 11 seconds left in the first quarter.
But they do like to go man-to-man full court. And we just saw that there. We saw an example of why. Again, other than Paul Reed, they're not a particularly tall team, but they're quick and athletic. And those two go hand-in-hand with full court man-to-man pressure.
So the Eagles will have the ball here with 11 seconds left in the first quarter. It's a great ball game so far. Eagles on top 19-16. And they're going to see if they can't add a point or two to that before we wrap up the first period. We've got Sebastian Brown ready to make the inbound. He goes to Daniel Rivera. He swings to Visual Russell. 5 seconds left on the clock. Eagles need to be aware of the clock. Dante Tracy gets forced into a wild shot from well into 3-point range. It misses, and that takes us to the end of the first period. The Eagles, thanks to some hot 3-point shooting, are just edging out the Mustangs at the end of the first quarter. It's a 19-16 ball game at the end of 8 minutes.
And so that quarter, to sum it up, I think the best word would be it was a very lively and spirited quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Really entertaining ball game to watch. These fans are in for a treat. I mean, we've seen some games here that have been, I don't want to say anything negative about them, but we've certainly had some games that have been a little tedious at times. They've been good ball games, they've been competitive ball games, but they've also been kind of slugfests. And this is not the case here. We've got some real clean executed plays. This doesn't at all look like street ball. This is not brute force basketball. Both of these teams very thoughtful about how they're executing their plays, have well-planned offenses and defenses, and you really see it materializing on the court here.
Yeah, the pace as far as the ball being moved has been very quick, but there's also been a certain element of judiciousness and deliberation in how they've been moving the ball. The one thing I would like to say as far as the previous games is, like you said, they've been competitive, but they've been tedious. And they've been tedious because one team goes out to a big lead, and the game pretty much, although it is competitive, you're watching one team try to come from behind more than 10 points.
Paul Reed takes the three here and doesn't get it to fall. Rebound by 21. Well, the Mustangs will take it any way they can get it. Perry puts the ball back in action. Paul Reed using his wingspan to pull that one down. That's one thing that really helps the Mustangs with their ball control, is that Paul Reed has such a wingspan. You can throw the pass well away from him and he can still bring it down, which makes him very difficult to guard. Johnson takes a shot there from the key. It doesn't go, and we've got another rebound by Zen Goodrich.
Remaining in that man-to-man full court press, although now, of course, they're only in the front court. We're seeing one-on-one up top with Keon Morris doing the guarding.
Tracy couldn't get up the backcourt. He ran into Perry, takes a rough shot, and Reed gets the rebound. Jeremy Johnson with a wild shot as he falls out of bounds. That doesn't go, but Reed is going to get the offensive rebound and give the Mustangs a second chance, and it's Paul Reed with the second chance basket for Wekiva. So with that, the Mustangs pulled to within one. They now trail 18-19 with 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the second period.
And again, that lively play.
Visual Russell gets blocked by Jeremy Johnson and goes out of bounds.
The lively play, which again is being keyed by moving the ball quickly and making good decisions on how the ball is being moved, continues here, and obviously the score reflects that with it being 19-18 with 6:07 left in the second quarter.
So Keon Morris comes back into the game for the Mustangs here. We'll also have Kendrick Brown onto the court for the Eagles. And that'll send Daniel Rivera to take a break.
Both teams, again, like to play a similar style, which is somewhat different than what we've seen. And so far, both teams have really about equal, and we really haven't seen any team put together a long run. I think second quarter on Saturday put together 5 straight points. That's really the most consecutive points.
And number one, Visual Russell gets inside Paul Reed's dribble, breaks it up, and the Mustangs nearly lose the ball out of bounds, but they're going to say that it went out of bounds off of the Eagles. The officials will shoo the coaching staff of the Eagles away from where the ball is being inbounded. Tyrone Perry nearly gets picked by Dante Tracy on the inbound, but he manages to pull it down. Keon Morris gets picked off here by number 2, Kendrick Brown, and he sends it quickly to Dante Tracy, picks up 2 for the Eagles. Kendrick Brown making a great play there on defense for the Eagles.
Unfortunately for the Wekiva faithful, we can see that turnover may have covered. They almost lost it a couple of other times.
Nice bounce pass to Marcus Davis, who then gets it out to Holloway to take the shot. That's going to go out of bounds off of the Eagles, and we'll have a sub for Wekiva. Returning to the game for the Mustangs, Ruben Shepard. And so he'll give Marcus Davis a break. Shepard back on the court. He's also a good scorer for the Mustangs. In fact, he leads the Mustangs right now with 7 points. Into Paul Reed. That goes to Holloway. Holloway cuts into Shepard. Shepard in the paint. Goes back to Holloway. Overshoots him. Holloway is able to keep the control of the ball, though, as he sends it over to Morris for a 3. And it's good! Keon Morris from Darian Holloway for 3.
And that is prototypical standard Wekiva offense there, moving the ball in and out. Great pass from the key to Morris on the wing to get that open shot.
And Reed is going to pick off Tracy here. And Paul Reed, coast to coast to steal 2 on the dunk.
And there you just saw, or if you're listening, you listened to why Paul Reed has over 20 D1 offense. Big man down in the middle there, caused all kinds of problems. It caused a turnover for an easy layup. But more than that, he really gave Wekiva a lift.
Tracy loses his dribble. Looked like it was going to be a turnover, but they're going to call a foul. Ruben Shepard is called on the foul. It's his first of the team's second. Crowd doesn't like that at all. I'm not sure that I do either, but that's why I'm an announcer and not an official. Deflection here out of bounds for Darian Holloway. Nothing coming easy to the Eagles here as the Mustangs have pulled to within 2. Actually, have taken the lead by 2, I mean.
And just like I said, CF
Sebastian Brown getting guarded by Morris here. He swings out to Dante Tracy. Tracy cuts back to Sebastian Brown from the top of the arc. That three isn't going to go, and Tyrone Perry is going to come down with a rebound. Perry looking to set things up, seeing if he can't get something going before the defense gets set, and Paul Reed draws the foul. Coming down the baseline would have been a nice layup. Foul is called against number 21. Zen Goodrich is second, the team's fourth, and Paul Reed will go to the free throw line. And that's what we like to call a good foul there, because that was definitely an easy layup for Paul Reed if Goodrich doesn't make that foul.
Yeah, and the other part of that too, again, CFCA has to break that momentum. They can't allow Paul. It's not just the fact that you're scoring, but it's the fact you're doing it with the emphasis, and that really gives the opponent a lift. In this case, that's one of Reed's great qualities.
And Daniel Rivera is going to come into the game for the first time for the Eagles. Paul Reed using his speed there to make sure that he had that opportunity before the Eagle defense could ever get set. There was no chance that his feet were ever going to get planted. He was never at any risk of getting called for a charge because he was just down there too fast to allow it. He makes both of his free throws, and that extends the Mustang lead to 4. 25-21 is the score, with 3:42 as the Mustangs run a full court press and put pressure on the Eagles as they try to get a rhythm here going. They do get to the front court, and a punch into the key by Sebastian Brown. Takes a rough shot there, though, and Ruben Shepard is there to make the rebound. He goes to Keon Morris from the corner for 3. And gives Shepard the assist on that on a very fast, well-executed play by the Mustangs.
Yeah, and now it's looking like after the first 4 minutes or so, maybe 3 minutes, the Tigers need a little feeling out area there to see what CFCA wants to do, what the character is.
And a block here for Paul Reed. It goes out of bounds off of him. And here's a nice cut into number 1. Oh my gosh, that was an easy basket, except it was blocked by Paul Reed, who also gets the rebound. Reed sends it down to Shepard. Shepard can't get it to go, though, and it's rebounded by Daniel Rivera. Rivera to number 23, Sebastian Brown gets a 3 on the pass from Daniel Rivera. And that ball went well out of bounds. Referees have to stop play so they can go chase it down and bring it back in for the Mustangs, who now lead just by 28-24. Their lead cut to 4 with 2.5 minutes remaining in the second period. As Perry sends it to Shepard. Shepard back to Perry. Perry going to take the 3, and that's an air ball. Sebastian Brown gets the rebound. And Visual Russell is going to draw the foul here. Mustangs foul called against number 12, Ruben Shepard. On the hold, it's his second and the team's third. Visual Russell will go to the free throw line and shoot 2 for the Eagles.
And so now CFCA is answering what was a 7-0 run by Wakaiva.
First free throw is no good. Into the game for Ruben Shepard, Jeremy Johnson. So Shepard will sit down possibly for the rest of the half. Not sure. Coach Lubin may put him back in yet, but he has 2 on him. Second free throw is good. That cuts the Mustang lead to 3. So we've got a 1-possession ball game, but the Mustangs have control as Perry takes the ball down the backcourt for the Mustangs. Paul Reed, oh, he would have lost that to a steal by Dante Tracy were it not for a foul. Foul is called against number 2, Kendrick Brown, his first, the team's 5th. So the Mustangs catch a break there, getting the foul against Brown of the Eagles, and Perry will take it out for Wakaiva. He's going to take advantage of Reed's wingspan to go straight to the paint, but Reed is going to get called for traveling. Eagles ball. Checking into the game for the Eagles, number 21, Zen Goodrich. Yeah, and I like where Perry's head was at there. At first, I expected him to go to the outside on the inbound. Instead, he goes directly to Reed, who, again, because of his wingspan, can pull down what would otherwise be a dangerous pass. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to take the shot immediately and then lost the dribble. But speaking of losing the dribble, we've got a steal to Perry, who then immediately turns the ball over by sending it out of bounds. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Ryan Jones for Darian Holloway.
And now CFCA sets up for the inbound. Iowa has 3 players in the back.
There's another steal.
And as you just said, Mark, that's what he's good at.
Back into the Mustangs, the steal by Jones, and we're going to get a foul here. I think the foul was committed against Morris by, let's see. Block is called against number 11, Dante Tracy. His first and the team's 6th. So the Mustangs will get the ball at the opposing baseline, and they inbounds to Jeremy Johnson. Johnson goes to the corner with Jones. Jones dribbles around. Mustangs rotate. Out to Reed. Uses his wingspan to pull it in again. Paul Reed tries to take the shot from the key. It doesn't go. Offensive rebound here for Jones. He sends it back to Reed. Reed's going to take another shot. This time he's got it. Paul Reed on the second chance basket for the Mustangs. And that extends their lead to 5. 30-28 now is the score, with a minute and some odd seconds remaining in the half.
And that's, again, exactly what you said at the beginning of the game. Where Jeremy Johnson does a lot of those intangibles. He kept the ball alive for Reed to be able to get it eventually.
A 3 is missed here. Rivera gets the rebound, goes into Goodrich, and Goodrich travels. Traveling, Mustangs ball, checking into the game for the Mustangs, Marcus Davis and Sam Bostic. And Paul Reed's going to take a break, probably for the rest of the half. So does Tyrone Perry. Also into the game for CFCA, Visual Russell. And Zen Goodrich comes off.
And now Wakaiba, for what was a back-and-forth game for about 14 minutes, has the opportunity to really exert its presence, its game, and its will.
Jeremy Johnson loses the ball to a steal by Dante Tracy, and a rare mistake for him. And Tracy takes advantage. Dante Tracy steals 2 for the Eagles. So we're back to a 3-point ball game. Mustangs would very much like to go into the locker rooms with a lead here. Keon Morris going to take a jumper. That was pretty good, but it doesn't fall because it's going to go out of bounds off the Mustangs.
Yeah, unfortunately, that time Jeremy Johnson couldn't quite corral the rebound.
And in the meantime, Jeremy Johnson is going to get called with an offensive foul. Team control foul is called against Johnson, his first, the team's 4th. Checking into the game for Wakaiva, number 34, Dominic Mitchell. And he makes his first appearance of the game as Johnson comes off.
And just for the record, I don't think it's going to come into play with only 22 seconds, but CFCA is on 6 fouls.
Inbound to Dante Tracy, and he's going to pick up a foul here. Block is called against Mustangs number 34, Dominic Mitchell, his first, the team's 5th. And as soon as Tracy realized he was getting fouled, he tried to turn around and take a wild shot, even though he was nowhere close to shooting range. Referee didn't buy it, though. They called that foul on the floor. Here's a shot from Tracy that's too hot, and it's going to be rebounded by Marcus Davis. 8 seconds left in the half. Jones passes back to Bostic. Bostic gets the last shot in. It doesn't go, but here's a putback. Putback is made by number 10, Marcus Davis, and that takes us to the end of the half, and that'll put the Mustangs going into the locker room with a 5-point lead. 32-27 is your score at halftime.
So again, what was a very spirited and lively first half comes to a conclusion exactly the way that Wakaiba wanted. Again, we talk so much about momentum, and it can get boring, but I just believe that's one of the 3 key general elements. You want to get into the halftime on an up note.
Yeah, and I may be biased because I'm announcing my own team here, but I think this is the most fun that I've had at any individual game here at the Metro versus Florida Challenge so far. This has just been a real treat to watch with both of these teams just executing so well, and you really love seeing teams winning because of the great things that they're doing and not because of the mistakes that the other team is making.
Yeah, and both teams have made some plays and they've had some inconsistency. Again, most of the teams coming in here haven't played more than 2 regular season games, but there's been far more consistent and good play and execution than there's been inconsistent and bad. So as we review for the second half, what's been the back and forth game actually turns into a Ricardo lead as they score, I believe it was 6 of the last 7 points to take the lead, and that's really a key point of how Ruben likes his teams to play, Coach Ruben.
Certainly, yes, the Mustangs have the momentum going into the locker rooms. And let's go in through your halftime stats here in game 19 of the Metro versus Florida Challenge, beginning with the Eagles. Visual Russell has 1 point from the free throw line. He also has 1 rebound and 1 assist. Sebastian Brown with 9 points, 2 rebounds, and Dante Tracy leads his team with 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals in the first half alone. As for the Mustangs, Tyrone Perry has 3 points, 1 rebound, and 1 steal. Ruben Shepard with 7 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Keon Morris, 8 points, and leading his team for the first half is Paul Reed with 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals and 2 block shots as he is on pace for a potential double-double. We'll take this opportunity to thank some of our partners whose generous support helps to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible, including the National Basketball Academy. Take a look at the front cover of your program for information about TNBA South, who is merging into the Jayhawks Elite to form an even more impressive AAU squad. Their tryout information is in the front of your program if you'd like to be involved with them at any level. You can also turn to the back of your program for information about the Orlando Magic Youth Basketball Academy holiday basketball camps. You can register for those with the form in the back of your program and learn more about them. We also would like to thank Dr. Patrick St. Germain and his team at St. Germain Chiropractic, voted the #1 chiropractor in Apopka. If you've been in an accident or you're in pain for any other reason, call today and they can help you out with same-day appointments available, 407-889-3223. And we thank our friends at burnfatorlando.com, where you can lose 30 to 40 pounds in 40 days without drug shots, cravings, hunger, or even prepackaged foods. It's safe, affordable, and guaranteed. We want to see less of you. And finally, we thank our friends at Elevate Orlando, whose mission is to equip urban youth to graduate with a plan for the future. They are proud partners of Orange County Public Schools to teach accredited elective courses that fully integrate into kids' lives and provide 6,500 hours a year of mentoring and support to prepare them for success after high school. If you'd like more information or if you'd like to get involved helping them make a difference, please contact info@elevateorlando.org. For those of you listening online, we're going to take a break for about 4.5 minutes here, and then we'll be back in action right here at Apopka High School for the second half of game 19, where we've got a great ball game going on. The Mustangs leading the Eagles 32-27 at halftime.
beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on shark. We raw, time to go off, gone. Deuces goodbye, I got a world to see. My girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer. Nah, I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people. Now sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands, this is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back.
Paul Reed gets the putback to open up second half scoring. We are back, as you probably gathered. Paul Reed scoring so fast there that couldn't get anything else done. As we sit sides and Paul Reed opens up the second half scoring for the Mustangs, and they now lead 34-27.
And I was looking over there between halftime as over at the Wekiva bench. And one thing I've noticed, and you can follow me up on this being the regular announcer for Wekiva, but they do seem to be a much lighter, looser bunch this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Paul Reed tries to get a putback here, can't get it to fall. And it's going to go out of bounds off the Eagles. So the Mustangs are going to get another chance here. Mustangs go back to their original starting lineup here at the top of the half. Here's a shot by Perry. Can't get it to go. Rebounded by number 23. That's Sebastian Brown. Gets the ball deflected by Davis and picked off by Reed. And then Reed takes a shot and can't get it to go, and it's rebounded by Kendrick Brown. Here's a shot at the other end by Brown. Number 20, Daniel Rivera on the putback. And a 30-second timeout is taken by the Mustangs.
So the reason I brought up the Wekiva looking a lot looser and lighter in their body language this year was simply the fact that in order to run the offense and defense that Coach Lubin wants them to run, you can't think a lot. It's not an offense or defense that works well when you're thinking, and you think if you're not loose and light, you overthink the situation.
Yeah, and you can tell Wekiva not getting the opportunities that they were getting in the first half, and that's why Coach Lubin calls the timeout here. Just not the, I mean, even though it's a 2-2 ball game, so Wekiva certainly hasn't lost any ground since they've come out of the locker room, but you just feel like something's not quite clicking for the Mustangs. I can't put my finger on it, but Coach Lubin trying to remedy that here.
Yeah, the first possession, Paul Reed got 2 shots there, got an offensive rebound. They looked really well, but since then they've looked off.
Here comes Number 15, Paul Reed gets his own putback for 2. Sometimes I wonder if he just does that so that he can improve his rebounds at the expense of his shooting percentage.
Or just to make the storyline interesting.
Long distance miss there for the Eagles, and Reed gets the rebound. Here comes a 3 from Tyrone Perry, doesn't go. And the rebound is by Daniel Rivera. So Perry going for the quick draw, that's one of those things that makes you brilliant if it works, but makes you look a little bit anxious if it doesn't. Sebastian Brown shoots 3, doesn't go. Perry gets the rebound, cuts into Paul Reed. Paul Reed had a good look there going around the baseline, but he can't quite get the layup to fall, and Dante Tracy gets the rebound.
So when all's said and done, we pretty much are same old, same old. It's a 7-point lead, 36-29, with 5:32 left in the third period.
Paul Reed takes a charge here from number 11, Dante Tracy, is second the team's first. So that'll be a turnover for Tracy as well, and that's just what the Mustangs need if they want to start building some momentum here.
Now, one thing I would like to point out here is we're about 5.5 minutes left in the third period. Wakaiva has yet to turn the ball over. Well, CFCA has 3, and of course, as soon as I say that, Wakaiva commits a turnover.
Illegal screen is called against Marcus Davis, his first, the team's first. So Tracy getting double teamed by Johnson, and Reed will steal it from him as he tries to pass it down court. And we're going to get an offensive foul here again, I think. Paul Reed is called on an offensive foul. His second, the team's second. That turns the ball over to the Eagles. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Sam Bostic. And so Paul Reed will have to come out for a little bit as he picks up his second foul there. So he's still not in bad shape. But I think that he's shown a little bit of fatigue here. And you can tell that's part of how you pick up charges.
Yeah, you're just not moving quite quick enough to establish the position.
And so Coach Lubin will let him sit for a couple of minutes. Mustangs still up by 13, though. You'd think from the way that we're calling it, the Mustangs are not doing well in the third quarter, but really they lead 4-2. Sebastian Brown goes up and he gets fouled.
Yeah, at this point, it's not really either team's playing badly. It's just both defenses are playing really well.
The push is called against Mustangs' Jeremy Johnson, his second, the team's third. And at the line shooting 2, Sebastian Brown. Well, and we also mentioned yesterday, too, that game that the Mustangs opened the regular season against Lake Minneola, beat them 99-77. So this is a team that has a lot of offensive firepower and clearly gets frustrated when it doesn't quite work out. But this is turning into a defensive contest, and the Mustangs would like to right that ship sooner rather than later as Zen Goodrich comes into the game for Kendrick Brown. Both free throws missed here. Marcus Davis scrambles for the rebound, but instead it goes to Visual Russell, and they'll immediately take a timeout. Full timeout called by the Eagles. So it's an opportunistic timeout. They had to take it because Visual Russell was in trouble on the floor, but as long as they're taking one anyway, they're going to take the full minute here because I don't think that Coach McClintock is any more satisfied with what he's seeing than Coach Lubin is.
No, and what's it been, about 3 minutes now since either team scored?
Yeah, and I mean, as you said, it's not that the offenses have really fallen apart on either side. It's just that they're not able to get around some very sharp defensive plays by both teams.
Neither team's really been able, even when they're inside, underneath the rim, neither team has really been able to get a good look, set their feet, be able to shoulder up to the basket.
So we're just a shade under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter here. The Mustangs still enjoying a 13-point advantage. Of course, they went into the locker room. No, wait a minute. I'm adding wrong in my head. A 7-point advantage. That's better. I didn't think we were ahead by that much. A 7-point advantage. They went into the locker room with 5. So they've improved on that a little bit.
And again, as I pointed out several times during the other games, granted, I'm sure Coach Lubin is not happy at all with the team not scoring, but the bottom line is you play to win the game. And right now, Wakaiva's ahead and in the position to win. So if the trend continues with neither team really being able to score, it favors Wakaiva.
Yeah, absolutely. If this game grinds to a halt, which would be a shame for entertainment purposes, but if this game does in fact grind to a halt, that is an advantage for Wekiva. Especially because the Eagles are missing their hotshot DeLazarus Keys, who's a Troy, Alabama signee. That being said, though, you can't take anything away from Dante Tracy, who has stepped in nicely with 17 points and 4 rebounds for them so far. Here comes a shot by 21. That's Goodrich gets blocked by Bostic. And I think it was 11 that got the rebound. Foul is called against number 1, Zen Goodrich. Number 1, Tyrone Perry. Zen Goodrich's basket is good. He'll go to the line and shoot for the three-point play. So Goodrich gets a putback there and draws a foul in the process. Three-point play is no good, and Jeremy Johnson is going to get the rebound. So that minimizes the damage. Still just a 5-point game. And now the Mustangs finally get a chance to do something offensively. I feel like we haven't been on this side of the court for a while. And Bostic is going to draw a foul on the floor before he goes up for this shot. Foul is called against number 21, Zen Goodrich on the push. It's his third, and the team's second. Mustangs get the ball at the opposing baseline, and Bostic is going to take the inbound to swing over to Marcus Davis. Davis thought about taking a three there, but thinks better of it as Bostic passes back out to Perry.
And now we're seeing a smart decision here, and this is clearly Coach Lubin's fingerprint. Wekiva's pulling the ball out, and they're taking a couple of seconds to reload.
But a steal here by Dante Tracy, who picks off Davis, and Tracy tries to go coast to coast and gets smacked on the arm by Marcus Davis, who's going to get the foul here. Foul is called against Marcus Davis. That's his second personal foul, and the team's fifth. And Dante Tracy will go to the line and shoot two. And this is where, I certainly can't disagree with Coach Lubin's decision to give Paul Reed a few minutes to sit out, but this is where Reed really shines with his height, because Davis didn't have any choice but to smack him on the arm there because he just doesn't have the height to make the block without doing that. First shot is a miss, second shot is a make, and that cuts the Mustang lead. No, I lied. Both shots were good. And that cuts the Mustang lead to 3.
And now
Shepard takes a jump shot. Just short. And that's rebounded by Zen Goodrich. Zen Goodrich airmails it to Daniel Rivera, who then sends it back to Dante Tracy well into the front court. Dante Tracy with a long 2 jump shot from Daniel Rivera. And so now, all of a sudden, it's just back to a 1-point ball game. The Eagles outscoring the Mustangs in the third period as Morris is going to trip up here. And they're going to call it as a foul. Eagles wanted a traveling call, but a block is called against Visual Russell. That's his second personal foul and the team's third. So the Eagles outscoring the Mustangs 2-1. Perry needs to get rid of it fast here on the inbound. Nearly got called for 5 seconds. And he'll go man-on-man with Dante Tracy. Eagles rotate their coverage as Ruben Shepard releases one down the baseline. That doesn't go. And Dante Tracy gets the rebound but lets the ball go out of bounds. So a turnover. And the Mustangs will get lucky here.
And to use an old cliche, like you said, not they dodge a bullet. Wekiva dodged a bullet there. CFCA was poised to regain the lead. And they've scored 6 in a row now, is it?
Paul Reed is back into the game for Sam Bostic. And turns out I was mistaken earlier. They actually are calling that out of bounds off of Wekiva. So CFCA does keep the ball here, but not for long as they're called on the inbound. 5 seconds on the inbound, Mustangs ball. So the Mustangs didn't get the turnover on the previous play, but they get it here.
And with Reed back in, let's see if Wekiva's offense can find its sink again.
I also neglected to mention earlier, Holloway came in there as well. And we've got a hand check here called on number 1. Visual Russell is called on the hand check. It's his third personal foul, the team's fourth. Jeremy Johnson looks for Paul Reed, and they're going to say that Paul Reed let that go out of bounds off of him. So that's a turnover there. I was about to, again, commend his wingspan for being able to pull in those wide passes, but this time it doesn't work out. Dante Tracy narrowly involved. Well, does he step on the line or not?
Well, judging by CFCA, Coach McClintock's reaction, it looks like we got, oh, no.
Block is called against number 24, Jeremy Johnson, his third, the team's sixth.
So I'm not sure what Coach McClintock took displeasure to since his team gets the ball.
Yeah, I think he was expecting that he was going to get called out of bounds there, and it turns out he actually got the call he wanted, but not before he mouthed off to the official. And Dante Tracy lets the ball go out of bounds as Daniel Rivera zigged when he should have zagged. Checking into the game for CFCA, number 2, Kendrick Brown. And Daniel Rivera comes out. And Jeremy Johnson also comes out in favor of Ryan Jones. Second chance basket by Ryan Jones after Holloway's initial attempt didn't go in.
And it's been quite some time since we've seen that inside presence for Wekiva. That is a good sign if you're Coach Lubin.
Yeah, Coach Lubin's got to be breathing a sigh of relief that has not disappeared entirely from this game, because the Mustangs are going to have a hard time winning without it. Tracy takes a shot from the paint that doesn't go. And Perry gets the rebound, tries to come all the way down, sends it off to Holloway. Holloway getting put under pressure by Zen Goodridge, who has a couple of inches on him, but he gets it off to Perry. Perry going to take a shot under duress from Zen Goodrich, and he draws the foul.
And that, too, is also something it's been a while since we've seen from Wekiva.
Foul is called against number 21, Zen Goodrich. That's his fourth personal foul and the team's fifth, and that will send Tyrone Perry to the free throw line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs. So that's huge there that Goodrich picks up his fourth foul. He doesn't have a lot of points. He has 5 rebounds, and his height certainly giving the Eagles an advantage, and so he'll, I'm assuming, going to come out of the game here with 4 fouls, and probably we won't see him again until the fourth period. Perry makes his first free throw. Checking into the game for the Eagles, number 20, Daniel Rivera. And as predicted, Goodrich will come out.
Yeah, Wekiva hasn't spent much time in the last 5-6 minutes on the offensive end inside the lane either. Last 2 possessions, they've reversed that trend. Of course, they got 3 offensive rebounds on the last possession before they finally converted it into points. And this time, Perry takes the drive inside the lane and draws the foul.
So Perry hits both of his free throws, pulling his weight for the Mustangs. And here's a steal by, I think that was Perry got the steal, and Paul Reed on the steal from Perry for 2.
And that's exactly what Wekiva was doing in the first half that they weren't doing in the second half.
Yeah, I was sure he was going to be off the baseline for that and get called out of bounds, just get a deflection, but turns out he managed to keep his feet in and get the steal. We're going to get a foul prior to the shot here. Tyrone Perry is called on the foul. That was ruled to be on the floor prior to the shot, but as it is this team's 7th foul, it will put CFCA into bonus. Visual Russell shooting 1-1.
And yeah, that's something else to keep an eye out is those fouls. We're only 35 seconds from the end of the third period, and already CFCA's in the bonus.
First shot is no good. Reed uses his height to pull that rebound down. Oh, they wanted a travel call because Holloway looked like he might have taken a step there, but the basket doesn't go anyway, and Sebastian Brown is going to get the rebound.
So CFCA is setting up for the last shot here.
Air mails it to Visual Russell. Russell cuts into the key, lets it go. It's short, and Mustangs don't have a lot of time. Ruben Shepard will let a 3 fly from the backcourt, no good. And that takes us to the end of the the third quarter. The Mustangs holding on to a 7-point lead after the Eagles cut into it initially. But the Mustangs have a 7-point advantage, 42-35 is the score as we head into the last 8 minutes of the ball game.
Yeah, so that after a first half, which was completely different from what was going on in the previous games as far as good execution, good flow, good rhythm, it pretty much descended into what we've seen over the course of the majority of this event.
Yeah, and I've got to, in spite of the fact that I'm obviously a Mustang fan because that's my home team where I announce regularly, I do have to give credit where credit is due. I was not sure how the Eagles would perform without their star player, DeLazarus Key, who is already a Troy signee. But Dante Tracy, who is also an All-State performer, has really been picking up his weight for the Eagles. He's got 21 points and 6 rebounds, 21 out of the 35. If you take him out of this game, then this isn't even a ball game.
Yeah, on the other side of the coin there, Wekiva is being led by Paul Reed, who has 18 points. However, there are 4 other players who have scored at least 5 points, and CFCA cannot say the same.
So the Eagles get the opening possession of the 4th period, and they will take advantage of it. Dante Tracy with a quick layup to open up 4th quarter scoring. Foul is called against number 23, Sebastian Brown, his second, the team's 6th. Then Ruben Shepard will shoot 2.
And again, we got a free throw shooting from Wekiva, which we did not see there for several minutes.
Shepard makes one and misses the second, but we got an offensive rebound for Darian Holloway, so the Mustangs will go to work again here.
Now Wekiva really has a chance to set a tone here in this 4th period.
Except that Paul Reed turns the ball over here to a steal by, I think that was number 23. That was Brown that got the pick. Wild baseline pass to Daniel Rivera, and here comes a 3. Rivera on the pass to Sebastian Brown for 3. And that cuts the Mustang lead to just 3 points, 43-40 now. And here comes Ruben Shepard, gets the basket and 1. Foul is called against number 20, Daniel Rivera, his first in the team's 7th. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Tyrone Perry returns, and Ryan Jones will come off.
And despite all the up and down play that Wekiva's had in the second half, the one thing you can say, and we saw this in their first game of the challenge, every time they find themselves having to answer, they have answered.
3-point play is good, so the Mustangs back on top by 6. 46-40 is the score with 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Trying for a fast break basket, he gets one. Dante Tracy coast to coast for the fast break basket. Tyrone Perry sets things up for the Mustangs. He gets double teamed and will send it off to Keon Morris. Morris goes back to number 23. Did he get a foul or did he step over the line? He's going to get a foul. Push is called against number 2, Kendrick Brown. That's his second personal foul, the team's 8th. And that will send Darian Holloway to the line, shooting 1-on-1 bonus.
And so both teams are now in the foul. And as we come down to the last 6 minutes and 38 seconds, that will be a key role.
And Holloway hits his first, so he'll get another as he shoots bonus.
And again, what makes it key is that there is almost the entire 4th period.
Makes the second as well. Dante Tracy pays us a visit here at the score table as he gets fouled. Number 1, Tyrone Perry is called on the foul. That's his 3rd, the team's 8th, and at the line shooting bonus, Dante Tracy.
You did bring your football gear with you, right, Mark?
This is an occupational hazard. Bonus shot is missed. Shepard gets the rebound, quickly sends it down to Ryan Jones. Picks up 2 for the Mustangs on the pass from Shepard. Foul is called against number 1, Tyrone Perry. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 9th, and back at the line for bonus, Dante Tracy. So Perry looking at 4 personal fouls here. That's going to be hot water for him. First bonus shot is good, and we've got a sub. Here comes Reed. Paul Reed is back into the game for Tyrone Perry.
Yeah, and again, the reason that's important, it's one thing to say Reed gets it or Shepard because they're big-time scorers, and of course Reed is inside. But Perry's your point guard. He's the guy who handles the ball.
Second shot is missed. Reed gets the rebound. Reed has a double-double, by the way. That was his 11th rebound. And we're going to get a foul. I think Reed's going to get called with a charge. Offensive charge is called against Paul Reed. The charge taken by Dante Tracy. No bonus shots on offensive fouls. It turns the ball over there to the Eagles.
And now Reed has to be somewhat careful, too. He has 3 fouls, so he's not in the same situation as Perry. But you can very easily get 2 fouls, especially when you come down to crunch time.
Tracy dances, spins for 2, doesn't get it. Rebound by number 11, Ryan Jones. Jones, Daniel Rivera tries to trap him, and Mustangs are going to call timeout before they do any damage here on a turnover.
And again, the reason for that timeout was CFCA has gone to full court pressure. It looks like they're going man-to-man with 2 men covering the backcourt. Nonetheless, at this point, like I said, free throws are going to probably play a key role. And Wekiva has committed 10, while CFCA has committed 8. So right now the difference is CFCA is going to take the double bonus, so they're going to shoot 2 the rest of the way.
Right, neither team with a foul to give, so if it does come down to a foul situation, they can send them to the line easily. I can hear Coach Lubin from here excoriating his team. 5:42 left in the ball game. Mustangs with a 7-point lead. 50-43 is the score.
Yeah, and Coach Lubin's facial expression clearly shows his displeasure in the team. Again, they had a period of some pretty smooth play there, but that time they got ragged bringing the ball up court, and I think that was because of the change of pace that CFCA threw at them with the full court pressure.
Well, you just look at the score by quarter, and you see 16 points in both the first and second quarters, and then we fall to 18 points total for the second half so far. Here's a deflection by number 2. That's Kendrick Brown. Knocks it out of bounds. Stays with the Mustangs, though, with 5:33 left. Shepard looks for and finds Ryan Jones, who gets it off to Morris. Back in the backcourt, Shepard is going to take it back to the front court, and the Eagles will now leave him alone and will not put the full court press on.
Oh, and we got up double dribble there.
Double dribble, Eagles ball. Yeah, he just lost the rhythm on his dribble, and I mean, just for an instant picked it up, and the officials calling it very tightly there.
Well, it also looked like he tripped over his own feet there, too.
Yeah, well, that's what caused him to lose the rhythm on the dribble. 3-point shot by Sebastian Brown. That's rebounded by Paul Reed. Reed loses his dribble to number 2. And that's going to be a backcourt violation. Backcourt violation, Eagles ball. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Tyrone Perry. Timeout, sir? Did you get green timeouts?
So after making that field goal, which extended the lead to 7 points, Wekiva's turned the ball over on 3 straight possessions now.
Jump shot let go by Tracy. It doesn't fall for him. And Darian Holloway gets the rebound. Here comes Perry. Perry falls to the ground as he takes the shot. Rebound goes to Sebastian Brown. It's a no call. And now we've got Tracy versus Jones.
So Wakaiba remains in a man-to-man defense, although it is taking on a 2-3 identity now. Both teams are being very deliberate. They've been doing that the whole game, but now they're getting even more deliberate as we come down to the last 4 minutes.
Darian Holloway puts the Eagles in trouble, and they'll get a timeout called just before the held ball situation results. Coach Lubin thought that he'd already lost control of the ball, but the referees will give them a timeout. Timeout called here by CFCA. With 4 minutes, 8 seconds left in the game, your scoring leaders at this point for the Eagles, Sebastian Brown has 12 points, 5 rebounds, and Dante Tracy has 26 points of his team's 43, as well as 6 rebounds. As for the Mustangs, they have 2 players in double figures. Ruben Shepard has 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Paul Reed has a double-double. He also had a double-double when the team played yesterday. So he has 18 points and 12 rebounds with back-to-back double-doubles for him for the Mustangs.
And so now, going back to yesterday's game, this was the point. There was a timeout with about 4 minutes left, and Wakaiba, whatever Coach Lubin said, it certainly worked, because what was a slim lead, I believe it was about 3 points, turned into a 19-point victory. Wakaiba really exerted its offense and defense, and just in general, its presence and its strengths.
Mustangs nearly get a 5-second count. They are finally able to get it to Tracy. Come back in from the timeout, and he's going to pick up a foul here. I think this is going to be against Jones. Hand check is called against number 11, Ryan Jones. It's his first personal foul. Tracy will be at the free throw line shooting double bonus for the Eagles. This is where the Mustangs have to be careful. When you're only ahead by 7, you can't give up these floor fouls that turn into double bonus situations.
Absolutely. And again, CFCA is pretty much in the same situation as Wakaiba in the fact they've only scored 1 point over the last three minutes or so. But they're also one of those teams that can suddenly turn it on. Next thing you know, they've scored 10 in a row, and you're looking at a deficit.
Perry cuts to the baseline. Ball gets away from him. And we're going to get a timeout. So now Mustangs are going to benefit from the same situation where it was nearly a held ball, and they managed to get the timeout in just in time, acknowledged by the official. Full timeout called by Wakaiba.
Yeah, both teams losing possession of the ball and then reclaiming possession and calling a timeout to be able to reset their offense.
Yeah, and credit Daniel Rivera there for making that happen for the Eagles. He's the one who got on the floor with it and knocked the ball away from Shepard. So we've got a 5-point ball game and just under half a quarter to play. 3 minutes, 49 seconds left in the fourth here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium here at Apopka High School. This is game 19. So this is game 5 of 8 for today, game 19 of 22 overall in this massive event that includes 40 different basketball teams. Wakaiba is one of 4 teams that is repeating, and they are actually involved in 2 games. The others, if I can do this from memory, are Dr. Phillips, Evans, and Apopka.
Yes, and just as a side note, Dr. Phillips and Evans are playing 2 games for the first time in this event.
That's true.
They've always been one of those teams, of course, both of them are state powerhouses in Class 9A, the highest class. There's always been a certain desire to see them play twice, but it's never quite worked out.
So in the ball comes to Jeremy Johnson, and then we go to Ryan Jones. Jones, oh boy, the pass is a little too hot for Tyrone Perry to be able to bring it down. It goes out of bounds, and this will be a turnover to the Eagles.
And again, Wakaiba's had a very hard time holding on to the ball here in this fourth period. That's their 5th turnover. CFCA has yet to turn the ball over.
So Kendrick Brown takes a shot here. It's rebounded by Johnson, and Johnson gets fouled on the rebound. Foul is called against number 1, Visual Russell. That's his 4th personal foul, and the team's 9th. And at the line, shooting 1-on-1 bonus, Jeremy Johnson. So this will be the last time we see 1-and-1 bonus today, as that is the 9th team foul, and the Mustangs already have 11.
And as you mentioned out at the beginning of the game, Johnson is so important because that's the kind of plays that he makes. He picks up those intangible, getting those key rebounds, for example.
Yeah, and that's actually technically only his second rebound of the game, but it always seems to come at just the right moment. He makes both of his free throws as well, which actually gives him his first 2 points of the night as well. And so the Mustangs are back out to a 7-point lead with 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And that's, again, it's important to reestablish that 7-point lead. They've been having a lot of trouble scoring. The biggest reason is the turnovers, but this time they're able to break the streak of the turnovers and not scoring. CFCA now has to come back and answer because, again, as I said, even though Wekiva's not playing near as well as they were in the first half, or Coach Lubin would like them to, they can afford to go a little bit longer with the bad play, holding that 7-point lead.
So finally, after batting around the idea for a while, Dante Tracy will go up the key, and there's a foul of some kind. Oh, it's going to be a charge. Offensive charge is called against number 11, Dante Tracy. That's his third personal foul, the team's 10th. No bonus shots on offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Mustangs.
And Jeremy Johnson was the player who drew the foul. So, again, Jeremy is having an impact here as we come down in the final stretch of the game.
52-45 the score with 2:42 left. Mustangs holding on here. There comes Keon Morris down the baseline. That doesn't go, and fight for the rebound here. Morris gets the rebound on the floor. He beats Tracy to it.
And again, Jeremy Johnson doing the dirty grind work seems to trickle down to the rest of the players, as that time Keon got down onto the ground.
Shepard at the baseline will send it out to Johnson, and Johnson manages to pick up the foul as he goes into the paint. Foul is called against number 1, Visual Russell. That's his 5th personal foul. He retires from the game with 1.2 rebounds and 1 assist for the Eagles. Checking into the game for him, number 21, Zen Goodrich. And at the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs, Jeremy Johnson.
So, again, we're now in the Jeremy Johnson highlight reel. After really not having an impact, he comes alive at the key moment of the game.
Johnson hits his first free throw.
So not only is this an important foul because Johnson's at the line and can extend the lead all the way to the 9, which would be Wekiva's largest, but CFCA loses one of their starters.
Yeah, and Visual Russell is actually in much the same situation as Jeremy Johnson. Only has 1.2 rebound, 1 assist on the books, but definitely an intangibles player that makes a lot of things happen defensively. And here's a steal by Morris, and he's not able to take advantage of it, though. His shot doesn't fall, and it's rebounded by Goodrich.
So CFCA dodges a bullet there. That would certainly put a dagger into the proverbial back there. If they
although even though the Mustangs didn't get points out of that steal, they managed to run off 10 or 15 seconds, and that's worth something. Here's a 3-point basket from Dante Tracy. And we'll pause for a timeout. Full timeout requested by the Eagles. So let's look at that timeout situation. That is I have that as being their 3rd full timeout.
With 1:39 left.
So they have 1 left.
And with 1:39 left, Wekiva's holding a 58-48 lead and have possession of the ball. Now, they haven't played spectacularly in the second half, but as I've said several times, every time they've needed to come up with an answer and prevent CFCA from having one of those sudden streaks of 8, 10, 12 points, they have been able to do that. Most recently, Jeremy Johnson has been the man.
Yeah, and we've been talking about Dante Tracy, who is really given an opportunity to shine in the absence of DeLazarus Keys. He's up to 31 points now. That's enough for a Hall of Fame record that's going to go onto the Metro versus Florida website. And he's followed by Sebastian Brown, who has 12. Now, you were mentioning foul trouble earlier, so Visual Russell just fouled out with 5, and they put in Zen Goodrich to replace him. Well, Zen Goodrich has 4. So Goodrich is also, he's the one he's probably the tallest person on the court, especially if Paul Reed isn't out. And so if he's got to be careful, too.
And on the other side, Wekiva doesn't have anybody with 4 fouls. They do have 3 players with 3.
No, Tyrone Perry has 4.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Johnson into Shepard. Oh, that was almost a beautiful basket. Nice setup, though. And Goodrich gets the rebound. Still, though, as a coach, you got to be happy with that. I mean, you know, there's a certain percentage of shots that are never going to fall.
Right,
and
right.
As long as you see your team executing that well, though, that's got to make you feel good. Tracy with a rough three-point shot, doesn't go. Perry sends it over to 11. That's Jones, but then a putback. Number 3, Keon Morris gets the putback.
And see, that field goal was set up by the previous possession, not directly, but it gave Wekiva that momentum and that idea to be able to do it the second time down.
3-point basket for Sebastian Brown.
So now we're under a minute here. Wekiva clearly is in the position to finish off this victory.
Jeremy Johnson and 1. So Johnson gets the assist there from Ryan Jones. He also draws the foul. Foul is called against number 21, Zen Goodrich. That's his 5th personal foul. He retires from the game with 2 points and 7 rebounds for the Eagles. Checking in for him is number 10, Joel Setien. And at the line, shooting 1, Jeremy Johnson. So a huge play there for Johnson. Not only does it interrupt the momentum for the Eagles, it also knocks Goodrich out of the game, and it makes it now a 7, possibly 8-point ball game with 36 seconds left on the clock, and that's a tall order for the Eagles. 3-point play is good, so it will be 8 points. That's at least 3 possessions in 35 seconds that they're going to need to convert.
And now Wekiva remains in that man-to-man half-court defense.
Daniel Rivera on the pass from Dante Tracy. And we'll pause for the final timeout taken by CFCA.
So without any timeouts left, we're now going to see the foul fest, and it's going to come down to whether Wekiva can make the free throws or not. Of course, they're ahead by 6 points, so they do have a little bit of a leeway, but they really can't afford to really miss more than maybe 1 or 2 here.
Yeah, because Dante Tracy won't forgive you if you give him an opportunity. So, yeah, clearly they're going to go for the fouling defense. They're already in double bonus anyway. Nobody who's on the court right now has more than 3. In fact, Tracy is the only one who has 3, so he's probably not going to be the one doing the fouling.
And on the inbound here, we're going to get a triple stack from Wekiva starting at the free throw line.
And a steal by number 2, Kendrick Brown, and he's going to draw a foul. So here they don't have to spend a foul. They're going to get sent to the free throw line anyway.
And for as well as Wekiva's played the entirety of this game, they really blew it there. That was about as worst a play as you could make.
Yeah, Ruben Shepard is called on that foul. It's his 3rd. And Brown is at the free throw line. He misses his first. Of course, it only helps if you manage to convert off of that turnover, and he is going to hit 1 out of 2 here. All right, so the Eagles can't stop the clock. They've taken all of their timeouts. Here's another steal. Another steal by Tracy. Tracy gets the basket. Dante Tracy steals 2 and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against Ryan Jones' 2nd. And that was just exactly what the Mustangs needed to not do. Now it's a 3-point ball game, and if he makes this field goal or this free throw here, it's going to be a 2-point ball game.
Yeah, and CFCA has cut this lead in a matter of seconds. Wekiva hasn't been able to run any clock off.
So the Mustangs will take a timeout here. This is the last one for anybody, right? Yeah. Full timeout is called by the Mustangs, and that'll be the last timeout for either team. So to reset the game here, both teams in double bonus, neither team with a foul to give. The Mustangs lead by 2, and they will have the ball at their own baseline when we come back from the timeout. Currently watching fouls for the Mustangs, we have Tyrone Perry with 4. And for the Eagles, nobody left in the game has 4, but Dante Tracy has 3. Mustangs, Shepard and Jordan and Reed have 3. The Mustangs again will have the ball. Neither team has any timeouts remaining, and 14.8 seconds left in the game.
So now Wekiva has really opened the door twice for CFCA. They have to steady themselves and at least get the inbound pass in here. Not just because of the score, but this game could quickly, CFCA has, could not only tie the game, but take the lead.
Yeah, and the Mustangs, I mean, at worst, we were expecting that CFCA was going to foul them, then maybe the Mustangs don't make their free throws, and then CFCA has to go the length of the court to try to do something. That's not what's happened, though. They've intercepted the ball under their own basket and able to, with running very minimal time off the clock, have been able to put points on the board. So finally, the Mustangs will get what was always supposed to happen, and we got a foul here.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I'm quite surprised they went to that same pass with the receiver cutting towards the sideline.
Foul here is called against number 2, Kendrick Brown, his 3rd. At the line, shooting double bonus, Ryan Jones. So Jones, if he can make both of these, would make it a 2-possession game, but he misses his first. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Paul Reed. Mustangs trying desperately here not to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Jones' second shot getting ready to go here. And that one isn't going to go either. But a putback miss by Shepard, and now it's finally rebounded by Daniel Rivera. So the Eagles now have the ball, and they lose the ball. Daniel Tracy loses the ball to a steal by Ruben Shepard, who gets it over to Ryan Jones, who then draws an intentional foul. And Coach McClintock is on the court.
Wow, an incredible ending here. A lot of emotion.
That's it. That's ball game. That takes us to the end of the ball game. Time expires in an exciting final play of the game after that steal there by Ruben Shepard, and it goes down as a 2-point, 59-57. As your final score in one of the most thrilling contests that we have had here at the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out to support the Mustangs and the Eagles. Whether you did so in person or whether you've been joining us online, we appreciate your support and attendance at the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. Coming up next, the Apopka Blue Darters, your host school, will take on the Winter Haven Blue Devils. That's coming up next here in Game 20 of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. And actually, something I did not want to say over the speakers to diffuse situations here in the arena, but the assistant coach of the Eagles actually called on a technical foul at the end of that game. So technically speaking, we will add one more team foul to CFCA for the official record there, because he came onto the court uninvited as that last play was made there. And anyway, the ball game goes, and Wekiva manages to hang on and in a wild series of events to wrap up that ball game in spite of making some critical mistakes in the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, that definitely was explosive highlight reel stuff of the wrong kind. Nonetheless, as you said, I know we're not in like an actual tournament, so there's no advancing, but that was definitely the prototypical example of survive in advance. Wekiva made several mistakes, not just in that last 14 seconds, but coming down the stretch there. They had a lot of trouble holding on to the ball. And it's really a shame because they played such a great game the whole way. They made some mistakes, but nothing that really would cost them a ball game until that final 30 seconds. And hopefully, but the good news is, again, as you said, we're early in the season, and you're seeing a lot of sloppy play because it is the first game. And this is a time when you learn from your mistakes. So hopefully that's what will be gotten out of this. I know, of course, Coach Lubin will stress that to the team.
Yeah, so the Mustangs managed to escape here, but you're right. I mean, to give credit where credit is due, CFCA was not playing that game like a throwaway non-district contest in week one that didn't really matter anyway. They were playing the last few minutes of that game like it was the state playoffs, and so you got to give them credit for that. The Mustangs certainly will learn a couple of lessons from that, but they will come away with a victory here, 59-57, in one of the best games we've seen. For those of you who are listening on YouTube, we're going to disconnect the stream, and we'll be back in about 8 minutes with our next game, Game 20, the Apopka Blue Darters against the Winter Haven Blue Devils. For those of you who are listening on theCUBE, you will need to exit Game 19 and then get into Game 20. We will start that broadcast in about 8 minutes, and we will meet you there. Until then, my thanks to Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief for joining me for this game. My name is Mark Barchi, the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge, and we will see you at Game 20.